learn how to handle it. Realized I'll never get rid of it, so I had to channel it for good. I'll always be an addict, but now I am addicted to all this hope I give to you. Yo, I'm living proof that if you change your mind, you can change your life. Rest in peace to the old me, cause he had to die. I am redeemed, sober, recovered, clean. I ain't give it up, just had to switch it up the way I fiend. Now I fiend for the opposite on a positive level. 2 middle fingers up, looking at the devil. What's up? Against the odds, more than ever in my life I am focused, serving hope to the hopeless, who are living against the odds. I'm from the mud, the dirt of society, and that created this driving me to help the whole world that's living against the odds. I know some of you are struggling and probably pissed at God. I was too, but I realized nothing happened to me, it happened for me. Here to tell the story of everyone that's living against the odds.
Yo, what's up, everybody? We're having some technical difficulties right now. That's why you've seen our special guest, Oscar, come up without me. What happened was my Ethernet cord unplugged when we were going live. But that's just the way things go. Hope you guys are all here to help us spread some hope tonight. For real, we got Oscar backstage. I'm going to try to pull him up. Hopefully my internet's catching up. Here we go. So we have Oscar here, and I want to welcome you guys all to another episode of Saturday Night Live on Against the Odds. If you guys wouldn't mind, please do me a favor. If you haven't liked this, loved this, react to this post, and share this post, please. If you could share this post in your recovery groups, that would be great. If you could share it on your page, that would be great too. Even if you wanted to share this post on a community page, I'm down with that. There's people out there that need to hear this message tonight, because this message tonight is going to be real and it's going to be raw, because we're talking about someone's life that came from the gutter, that has switched his life around, and is here to tell us how he did it and what happened and what it's like now. Without further ado, let's welcome Oscar to Against the Odds on Saturday night. Welcome, Oscar.
What's happening, Phil?
Sorry about putting you on the spot like that.
Yeah, no, it's all right. And we just went over the whole Ethernet cable deal.
We sure did. It bumped loose.
Yeah.
So what happened was I got this. So I was sharing this on my page and I was going to close it. And the cable bumped loose. And I noticed that the video started to lag a little. And I was like, I clicked it back in.
I'm Oscar Mazoleny. And like Phil said, just reaching out, just trying to give anybody the hope that recovery is possible. I came from a pretty good structured childhood. My mother and father, they weren't wealthy or anything like that. My childhood was good. I was introduced to weed and stuff, stuff like that. But growing up as a kid, I did everything that kids normally do, ride bikes, hang out with friends, stuff like that. I got introduced to marijuana at a pretty young age, and unfortunately, it came from a person that really shouldn't have introduced me to marijuana. It happened to be my dad, but he, in his mind, he figured that it was safer for me to smoke weed at home with him than venture out and do it, not realizing that it was going to become a bigger problem later on in life. Because if it was cool for me to smoke weed with my dad, then it was cool for me to do anything, I never really had any problems with drinking or anything like that, and I basically followed in my dad's footsteps. He was a good father. My mom, she was a good mom too, and I originate from Dallas, Texas. That's where I was born, and I came up here as a young kid. Lived in St. Paul most of my life, and you know, throughout school and everything was good, you know. I didn't start getting in trouble until I was like, shoot, just over 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so life was pretty good for me, you know. It was when I started getting mixed into the pharmaceutical pills and everything like that. Um, you know, then it became meth. And from then on out, you know, things were just chaotic and crazy. You know, it went from me struggling with a pill addiction to, um, you know, in and out of jail and stuff like that. I've spent quite a bit of some time in jail, in prison. Most of my jail offenses and stuff, they were from driving violations and stuff like that. You know, I didn't start getting into some real trouble until like I was about like 19 years old. Um, I think my first time in prison was when I was about 20 years old. Um, I got served a 87-month prison sentence for a first degree burglary, you know, and to be honest, every time I went to jail and stuff, there was never one time where I was ever thinking to myself, hey, I'm going to get out and I'm going to do good. You know, I just hung around with all the bad people that, you know, had no structure in their lives, nothing. Um, you know, never even had a job and stuff like that. So, you know, things were pretty rough for me in my adult age, my adult years. Um, you know, like I said before, you know, I started out with using pharmaceutical pills. That was that was a pretty tough situation because with the pharmaceuticals, you know, it's not that you want to get high, you have to get high just to feel good. Um, it's basically just like using heroin, you know, without doing heroin. You know, it's just a government issue type of heroin. Um, you know, but all through my time of using the pills and stuff, you know, I was thinking I was some type of pill man out there selling pills and stuff like that. You know, it was horrible when it come time for the withdrawals and, you know, out there on a pill chase, things like that, you know. But yeah, I mean, throughout my adult years, you know, I mean, I can't even really say that things were horrible until it came time for me to be out there committing crimes to feed my pill addiction, because the pills, they weren't cheap. Um, you know, if I wasn't out doctor shopping and I couldn't get them from the doctors, I was out there buying them. And in order to feed that pill addiction, I had to have some serious money to feed it. Um, you know, and to be honest, throughout my adult years, I never held down a full time job. Never had a job. You know, it was always working on cars, selling pills to buy pills, stealing stuff to buy pills. You know, I have a pretty lengthy criminal history record. I got like 9 felony convictions on my record, and it, you know, it's hard for me to do anything that, you know, requires you to have a clean record, because my record hinders me from a lot of stuff, you know. So
Hey, I'm with you, brother.
yeah,
I'm with you.
you know,
I got the records. I got the records on my back too.
yeah. And you know just as well as I know, once you have that felony convictions on your record, you know, it's hard to do a lot of stuff, you know.
Hey,
And
man. So straight up, years later, after I had, changed my life and all this, and I'd been out a long time. Years later, I was working for Ryan Companies, and
okay, I know of them.
We were in Cargill, and they took my social security number. I had to call the guy and tell him that, hey, I wasn't going to pass that background check. That was
Yeah,
something that I was
yeah,
ashamed of, but it was something that I had to do because those are the facts,
yeah,
right? And I
yeah,
did that, and he was like, "Hey, man, you're a good carpenter. We're going to bring you somewhere else."
yeah. Because that's like how it is for me right now too. You know, I'm a union carpenter as well, and when it comes to like me going to go work in let's say courthouses, some schools or colleges, any type of power plant, you know, I can't pass a background check. So obviously, you know, I'm in the kind of the same boat as you. They put me somewhere else where they know that that hard worker is needed.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, I'm grateful for that, you know. But yeah, I mean, throughout my adult years, like I thought for sure, you know, when I caught that first degree, and to be honest, I mean, I got caught robbing a St. Paul police officer's house, and they made an example out of me. I originally took a plea for 34 months. Somehow, some way, the plea got retracted. The plea got denied by the state prosecutors, and they went after me for 87 months. Um, and there wasn't nothing I can do about it. I ended up going to go do my 87 months, my first time ever in prison. I thought for sure, you know, like that was going to be, you know, a game changer for me and change my life around. You know, I was so a little bit before I even went to prison. So I was with a girl for quite some time. She's the mother of my two kids. My son was, or my kid's mom was pregnant with my son at that time. I ended up getting incarcerated. She basically rode the whole prison sentence out with me. I got out, basically got back on the same stuff, you know, using pills and back on the meth pipe and stuff like that. You know, so that was a pretty rocky situation for me. You know, and it just, it was horrible. You know, I still can't see my sons to this day because of it. I'm trying, you know, to work with her on all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, so I got a couple of little key points here to kind of stay on track. I mean, people that know me out there know that, you know, it's hard for me to keep on track, you know, and as with anybody that struggled with meth addiction, you know, especially,
Hey, bro.
it's hard
You're
for any
ahead
of
of
us to
me.
stay on track.
We're both gonna be off track.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but yeah, so I mean, let me just try to get some of this in a row played out in my head, you know. It, it was a long road being on meth, you know. There wasn't anything that I wouldn't do to feed my addiction, whether it was, you know, robbing somebody, stealing from somebody, conning somebody, you know, anything to stay high, to keep going. You know, there was plenty of times where I had U.S. Marshals looking for me for fugitive warrants, stuff like that. You know, I'm glad that it came to an end when it came to an end, because like they say, you gotta hit rock bottom in order to, you know, start working your way up. And I believe, you know, when that time came, June 21st of 2016, I believe I was at rock bottom. Like, life was just crazy. There was people that I was next to getting served federal indictment warrants, you know, all kinds of stuff. You know, so I think it took, so I got convicted of felon in possession of firearms, and I think it was like the beginning of 2017. And before I was even convicted or anything like that, I actually went to a treatment program. It's called Metro Hope Ministries. Did 13 and a half months there, stuff like that. Went through carpentry trade school, became a union carpenter. And, you know, I believe that program really, really helped save my life. And it's because it's Christ-centered treatment facility. And I believe, you know, that God really saved my life and is a big part of my recovery to this day, you know. So
Amen.
you know, I'm just glad that all of that chaos is over with, you know. Just all of them people that I used to hang around with, they're just, you know, I just now recently started a Facebook page because I felt like Facebook was unhealthy for me. And I got people sending me friend requests all the time, and I just leave them unopened because I know that it's gonna take that one right wrong person for me to make that bad decision, and just like all of us struggling with addiction. We're just one bad decision away from a relapse.
Yep.
And to be honest, I don't believe I have a relapse in me, because comes with the relapse is a long prison sentence, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I have a lot of people, counting on me, not only myself, I have my wife, my kids, so there's a lot of people out here that count on me to keep doing what I'm doing these days. And I'm just glad that, I'll keep saying it. I'm just glad that that life is over with. Anybody that's out there struggling with addiction, definitely there is hope. There is that change. That change is possible. It's all about how much you put into it is how much change you're going to receive of it. You know,
Let's back up a little bit.
yeah,
Let's talk about that. You got 86 months or 87 months.
87.
So in there, was there any? Were you still doing the same things in there? Did you change your life in there?
Negative.
No,
Yeah.
you just were still running the.
Same thing, messing around with the Latino brothers, drinking hooch. They had pills in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in my mind, there's never one time where I ever thought, hey, I'm going to stay sober in here and I'm going to do right. I mean, yeah, I did hold a job down in there. It's called Anagram. It's an interstate paying job where basically you get minimum wages. So, I mean, I held a job down and everything like that. Wasn't getting into no trouble, but there was never any thought in my mind, I'm going to straighten out in here and I'm going to stay sober in here so that way I could stay sober out there. Maybe towards the end of my prison sentence, I thought, go ahead.
What year did you get locked up, and then what year did you get out?
It was the end of about 05, and then I got out 2010.
Okay. So then you still had 6 years of active use.
Yeah.
Outside of that.
Yeah. And anytime I was so I got like going on close to 10 years being incarcerated, and anytime I was incarcerated, I was never sober, whether I was using some type of pills that somebody was being prescribed that I was buying off of them. I've never had any period of time that I was sober besides like in county jail. In county jail, it's harder to get stuff like that, but in prison, it's just like everything is out there, you're moving free and stuff like that. So, I mean, like I said, there was never one time where I was ever incarcerated like, hey, I'm going to change my life when I got out, especially like in county jail. Anytime I got convicted of a charge, I was basically just pleading guilty to get put on probation, and I'd check in with that probation officer and I was off and running. Next time they call me in for a UA, I wouldn't even show up because I already knew my UA was going to be dirty. I was already hanging around.
Part of the cycle.
Yeah, it was. And
that's a vicious cycle.
Yeah.
And they let you out, and then you do the same thing again, and then they let you out, and you do the same thing again, and then they eventually lock you up for a long time.
Yeah.
Sit you down. And I was just wondering if that was, yeah.
Yeah. No, I just kept repeating that cycle. There was never one time where I actually put any effort into breaking that cycle, up until this last time, and I knew that I had to actually put in the work to show the courts that I was seriously changed, because I was in treatment and I was facing 60 months for felon in possession of a firearm. The police. So I lived in Cottage Grove. There's a situation where somebody came to the house with a stolen trailer. I'm in a stolen truck, high as a research monkey. And they actually got a warrant to raid the house, and they came in the house. My wife, she smuggled me out of there in the trunk of a car. Later on, the charges popped up, or I had a warrant for receiving stolen property. I ended up trying to go to Teen Challenge. Teen Challenge didn't work. I was sneaking out of there every night, chasing my wife at that time, and staff didn't even know that I was sneaking out of Teen Challenge. So I mean, it was pretty crazy. I knew that change wasn't happening at that point in time. I ended up getting a warrant for my arrest. That's when the task force started looking for me, and I ended up checking into. I got arrested, got bailed out. My oldest sister, bailed me out for a $80,000 bail. I ended up going to Metro Hope, and that's when life really started to begin.
That's when God started to come in and
Yeah.
send people in front of you, man, huh? He
Yeah.
sent people in front of me when I was in the right spot. He sends people in front of us. And what happens is
Yeah.
those people speak life into us.
Yeah.
We look for, we need to stop and think right now, because we look for
Yeah.
God in the wrong spots.
Yeah.
We need to look for God in people and who he brings to us in
Yeah.
situations. And I mean, this is the truth, man. God brings
Mhm.
people in our lives at these times to speak life into us.
Yeah.
And I know you got a story for us with that.
Yeah. So it wasn't that I wasn't a believer. My wife is the one that kind of introduced me to God, because she's went through the women's side of the program before. And, she introduced me to the program, and that's basically where I started building my relationship with God and finding out about God, building that relationship with him, receiving his love and stuff like that. Yeah, I mean, so then when after I was in that program, the charges for the felon in possession of firearms popped up on me. I ended up pleading guilty to the charges and did basically a straight plea to the judge. So I accepted my 60 months, but I did the straight plea to the judge. And after presenting everything that I've done to change my life, the judge wouldn't even put me in prison. He was like, I will not put this man in prison for one day. And man, literally, when I left that courtroom, I was crying. I knew that this is the beginning of the new me. Yeah, things were just so far out of control. Even even after all the federal indictments and stuff went out, and me and my wife, we weren't even part of the indictments that went out. It's our addiction still was off and running. We were still off and running with our addiction. None of that changed. But instead of us going from the people that actually had the bag and was selling the stuff to people, we went from that to the people chasing the bag, trying to stay high, to stay up and stay running from the police and stuff like that. I mean, it was hectic. It was crazy. So yeah, I mean, nowadays, I mean, so I went through, once I was in the program in Metro Hope, I knew just going to treatment wasn't going to be good enough for me, because what am I going to do? I'm going to go to treatment, have, a certain period of time where I'm sober, and then I'm going to go right back out to the streets and do what, 9 felony convictions. What the heck what kind of job can I get with that? So I went through Summit Academy, it's a carpentry trade school. Went through the program, graduated, got sponsored into the union. Now I'm a union carpenter, and I never even imagined that I'd be where I'm at to this day. Number one, I'd never even imagined that I'd be married, homeowner, have half of my kids in my life right now, and it's still a struggle and a battle to try and have a relationship with 2 sons. I got a son that's 10 and a son that's 14. As of right now, they really don't want anything to do with me. And it's a tough situation, but I just give it to God. God will put his hands in that situation. And yeah, it's a lot of what I did why they don't want to have a relationship with me, but it's a lot of what was saying to them of what I was doing, why they don't want to have a relationship with me. You know, they don't know me. Um, when me and my kid's mom broke up, that was like the start off of my addiction after I got out of prison, you know. So I believe in God's timing, you know, that situation is gonna be worked out. Um, I'm just never gonna give up on them, you know, trying to have a relationship with them. So yeah. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah, buddy. You're doing a great job, man. I just want to tell you that we got a bunch of comments here. A lot of people are thanking you for sharing.
yeah,
Um, Definitely, dude. We're just two peas in the pod, bro. I had
yeah,
a judge do the same thing to me. I told you that, didn't I? I
yeah,
had a judge
yeah,
told me I went in there and pled to him. I went to treatment. I was sober. He said, "I'm not going to put you in prison, Mr. Tyler, but you'll put yourself in prison. I'm going to put all this time over your head.
yeah,
Here you go."
yeah, yeah. And you know, I mean, like literally the prosecutor, she was pushing for, she didn't get the mandatory 60-month prison commit, so she was pushing for like another 240 days, and the judge just repeated to her, he was like, I will not put this man in prison for one day. It's just counterproductive, you
Yep.
know. And you know, I mean, it took a lot of willpower for me just to even, you know, try to do the change, you know, just
Yes.
because I was so wrapped up into that type of lifestyle, you know, since I'm 39 years old now. Um, from the day I was like just becoming an adult is when I actually start committing crimes. I mean, you know, I committed so many dang crimes out there. If I was convicted for all of them, they they'd probably, you know, built a prison around me, you know.
Yeah. We wouldn't be
And
here right now, would we?
no, and to be honest, if the judge would have put me in jail, I would have, for my possession of firearms, I'd have probably just been getting out like a few months ago, you know. So you know, I'm just extremely grateful for, you know, everybody that's involved in my life right now. You know, things are great, you know. Yeah, I'm just extremely grateful for it. I think if it wasn't for where I came from, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now. Um, I had to go through those trials of everything that I went through to be where I'm at now. Because I mean, like I said, I know I'm just one bad choice away from going right back to that lifestyle. You
Yeah,
know,
you are, man. I mean, I
yeah,
was in that situation that you were in, and I made the mistake.
you know,
They gave me the time over my head. They did. They
yeah,
said, "Mr. Tyler, you'll send yourself to prison before we send you to prison."
yeah,
You know, I made it 5 months, and I sent myself to prison. I was pissed at
yeah,
that judge. I swore up and down to the judge that sent me to prison that I needed treatment.
yeah,
And the judge looked at me and said, "You can get treatment in the Department of Corrections. I'll make
yeah.
sure of it." And they sent me, and I resented that judge for a long time. I wrote on one of my
I bet.
notes, "The judge saved your life," right? The judge
Hmm.
helped you save your life. And the same thing happened to me. Even though
Yeah,
I made that mistake, that judge that sentenced me gave me that tough love, gave me
yeah,
that 51 months and said, "Hey, you can get treatment in there." That's what I needed. Um, it was part of it was it happened and I endured it and got through it. And like you, when I was in there,
hmm,
I wasn't sober, man. I wasn't
yeah.
sober at all in there. I was
And
always trying to get something.
it's hard to be, you know. I mean, like,
Till I went to treatment. That's when I
yeah,
sobered up. The day I went to treatment in the joint, that's my sobriety date, October 15th, 2010.
yeah,
So I mean, and that's
yeah,
the truth.
yeah, yeah. And you know, I mean, like, I've never even went through any type of treatment program up until going to Metro Hope
Yeah,
Ministries. You know,
Metro
there
Hope.
was,
Shout
yeah,
out.
yeah,
Shout out.
there was never any time in my mind where I was like, I'm gonna change my life, you know, ever. And that was the first place I ever went to. And you know, just the love that they shared, and you know, teaching you about Jesus, having a relationship with God, all of it is, I
What did
believe
they
that.
encourage you guys to do at Metro Hope? Did they encourage you to go out into these recovery communities? Did they encourage you guys to talk to people in recovery, to work
Um,
with people in recovery, or go
no,
to
so
meetings?
they have like their set programs that they do. But like there's all kinds of stuff that you do. I mean, me and my wife, we did like testimony videos with them. Um, Basically what it is, it's finding recovery with God at the center. So that's what they teach you. They teach you to have a relationship with God and know about him, and just place him at the center of your recovery. And it's not like they pour the Bible down your throat or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, the program, it worked for me. My wife is the director of the women's side. She went from being in there to being the director,
That's right.
and that's God's hands all over that,
What do
and
they say? Hey, they say that someone told me this a long time ago, and I stick with it. God does not call the qualified; He
yeah.
qualifies the called.
Oh
That
yeah.
is the truth.
Yeah.
He's done it for many, 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 many of years.
Yeah.
He calls the qualified, or
Yeah.
he makes you qualified,
Yeah.
right? He doesn't
Yeah.
call the qualified; he calls the unqualified and
There you go.
creates their qualifications.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what happens. And shout out to your wife. Shout out to Metro Hope Ministries, the men's program and the women's program,
Yeah.
because they are out there helping people change their lives.
Yes, they are.
We have Oscar here talking about his story and what his life was like and what it's like now. And he went through Metro Hope Ministries, and his life's changed, and it's not been the same. He's blessed. He is a married man, a productive member of society.
Yes.
Because if you just tuned in, Oscar's story, he was not very productive. He
No.
had no job, and he was not a productive member of society for many, many years. He was in and out
Yes.
of jail, a burden on taxpayers, just like myself. That's exactly what I was too, man.
Yeah.
I mean, no joke. Jail saved my life. In and out of jail, in and out of jail. I was homeless. I didn't have anybody, but it wasn't, I didn't start getting in trouble till I was 18 either, man. That's
Yeah.
something I wrote down.
Yeah, I've never had any juvie incarcerations, convictions, or anything like that, and that's what's crazy is like every time I've done the intake process in prison and stuff like that, they ask you all them questions, and I've had one say to me, "So you've never been in trouble through your juvenile years?" And I'm like, "I've never been in trouble," and it all my trouble started chasing that high, and especially like with what I was using is the pharmaceuticals. It's not that you want to get high, you got to get high just to feel better, because it's a different type of, basically just like heroin. But yeah, I mean, it was horrible, and I literally racked up probably 5 felony convictions in like a 6-month period. you know So yeah, but yeah, when it came time for me to actually really kick off my meth addiction, that's when the real crimes happened. I have one charge on my record. That's an attempted murder charge, that I was never convicted of, arrested on it and stuff like that. So I mean, from then on from there too, I was always labeled as a violent offender, somebody that was known to carry handguns and stuff like that. And when I first got into my recovery, I lost my dad. Not only my dad, I lost my mom, and that was some hard stuff to deal with, being in recovery, because I don't even think I even had that just F it attitude. I'm just gonna go get high, anything like that, and like I said before, my mom and dad, they were great parents. They never looked down on me for anything that I've done. They didn't condone it, and they weren't like okay with it. They just loved me for who I was. You know, it it was a tough situation when I lost them, it was pretty tough, but I just kept my head held high. And you know, like before my dad even passed, he asked me, he was like, son, what are you going to do with your life? Are you going to keep continuing going down this road, or are you going to change? And, I gave him my word that I would put effort into changing my life. And, I held true to that. And, I'm here to this day, 100% sober, living a 100% sober life, structured life. And then a couple years later, ended up losing my mom. And I thought for sure that was going to be like a tipping point for me. Because it was a tough situation. Not only was my mom in the hospital sick, but my wife's grandma was in the hospital sick. So I was like bouncing back and forth from Woodbury to Alexandria for about 2 weeks straight. I put on a lot of miles on my car trying to be with her and trying to be with my mom at the same time, and it was pretty tough. But, my job, they were cool with it. They knew what was going on. I took a little bit of time off of work for that and stuff like that. But, yeah, it was pretty tough. But, my mom and dad, they never looked down on me for anything that I've ever done in life. They just always wanted me to do right, but accepted me for what I was doing, being a little criminal out there, just doing anything I can do to, stay high, basically. And that's what it all really boiled down to, was chasing them drugs. And somebody that's never used drugs, it's easy for them to say, why don't you just quit? It's not that easy, especially when you grew up in that type of lifestyle. It's hard to break free from it. It took a lot for me to actually put the effort into it. And, my wife, when we were just dating at the time, she's tried to change her life. She went through multiple treatments, and, when we kind of hooked back up, she was a little while into us dating. She was talking about, let me think of what her phrase was, that I keep watching life pass me by. And, I never really got it until, the trouble started coming, the me knowing that I'm going to go to prison for a long time if I don't do something to change. And, yeah, when we got arrested, it's kind of a little funny situation. So we got arrested. I got arrested by the bounty hunters, and, they put us both in the back of the cop car together. And so I told her, I said, I said, babe, give me a kiss. Now we can start our lives over. Now this is the beginning of our new lives, or something like that. Give me a kiss. She says, give you a kiss. I'm going to headbutt you in the face right now. We're in the back of a cop car going to jail. Not knowing that was it right there. Like, from that day on, from being in the back of that cop car, that was the end of our addiction right there. Like, she went to jail. She got out on her daughter's birthday. I got out a couple weeks later when my oldest sister bailed me out, which I'm super grateful for, because if it wasn't for her helping me out the way that she did, I'd probably go to prison and I'd be high right now, because I would have went to prison like, you know what, skip this. I just want to get high when I get out. But yeah, from then on, that's like the beginning of our recovery. In
the back of a squad.
Perfect. Got bailed out, and I went and stayed at my mother-in-law's house, which she didn't want nothing to do with me, because I was dragging her daughter through the streets. Her daughter just wanted to be around me, like, she literally wouldn't leave my side. So her mom never wanted anything to do with me. And it feels real good to help out somebody that spent so many years trying to help somebody out. Like with my wife, she was always there. Of course, that's her daughter. She's always going to be there for her. But like, her mom lives with us now, which is awesome. I love it. We're able to help her out in the whole process. She's lost her mom, she's lost her husband, and she's my mom. you know, and I love it. I love it that she's here, and I love it that we can take some of that life burden off of her back and help her out and not have to worry about things. You know, and the family we have here in this household is just awesome. You know, I love them all. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't think I would change anything that I'm doing right now for anything out there, you know. And for people that are out there still struggling, like if you're really serious about changing your life, you have to change your social life. You know, like me, I cut off family members that I know are unhealthy for me. My first move was to cut off all of them friends. Like, I don't want nothing to do with anybody that I know is doing stupid stuff, or even if I don't know that they're on the right track, you know, I just don't want anything to do with them just because it, all it takes is for somebody to drag me down and my whole household might fold, you know, and I can't risk that, you know. Not only that, but I love the career that I'm in. You know, I get to go out and build stuff, you know, make an okay wage doing it, you know, enough to support my family, you know. So, yeah, I mean, I don't think I would change anything that I'm doing right now, you know. And do I have regrets of my past? Yeah, I do. Um, just because all the victims that of everything that I was stealing, taking that didn't belong to me, you know, there's victims in that situation. You know, I regret it. Can I take it back? No, the damage is already done. Will I do any more damage in the future? No, you know, just
And that,
because.
man, that's a big reason why I do what I do.
Yeah,
The drugs that I've sold over the
yeah,
years, the lives that I've polluted.
yeah,
Um, you sit back and you think of the lives that we've destroyed and the
yeah,
people that we've affected that we don't even know
yeah,
by trying to push that, right?
yeah,
And promote that. So one of the ways what I do, this is why I do this. This is why we do this. Is it is to promote hope and
yeah,
inspiration on a Saturday night instead
yeah.
of going out. I remember when people used to, I would call their phone, and I used to have people tell me they didn't like when I called because they would
Hmm.
think of a certain drug, and
Yeah,
that's why I called them. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I was trying to sell them things and pollute their. You know what I mean?
yeah,
It was always a scheme, man.
yeah,
And you know, if I'm gonna be scheming and I'm gonna be doing that, I got to do it for positive reasons. So
yeah,
today we do things on more of a positive note, right? And
yeah,
that's why we're doing this is because we have affected lots of lives in our
yeah.
past. Bottom
And
line,
like you said too, you know, we don't even know the extent of how many lives we affected by going out there and, like, let's say me selling Joe Bob a bag of dope. Well, Joe Bob has two kids and a wife at home that he's just like putting at risk, you know, the safety of his
and
kids, you know.
the
Yeah, yeah,
mothers that took off on their kids, I know plenty of
yeah, yeah,
mothers that have lost their kids to CPS
yeah.
because of dealers selling drugs and polluting
Hmm.
or promoting destruction is
Yeah,
what I like to say. I'm gonna tell you, man, you did a good job. I want to thank you for coming on.
thank you. Yeah,
Amazing story. Definitely, we have a lot in common because I was too in the Carpenters Union for 7 years.
yeah,
I still am a member of the union. I still pay my dues because I earned
yeah.
that. I
Look,
got my freedom card when
it
I
feels great to
graduated.
be involved in something like that. You know, I've never, up until I was like 30, shoot, 35 years old, I've never held a job. Like, literally never held a job. Like, that's crazy. And to actually be involved in something like that and be a part of, you know, a brotherhood like that, to me, it's a great thing. Eventually, I plan on, you know, trying to start a business later on. But until I do that, I'm comfortable where I'm at. Yeah, like I said before, life is awesome right now, you know.
Yeah, man. So the Carpenters Union definitely is a great spot for anybody. It helped me.
Hmm.
Um, it helped me tremendously to get just to learn,
Hmm.
just
Yeah.
just to get a job, man, and be productive and to earn a good wage and stick with something. When I
Yeah.
graduated the Carpenters Union, in their little training room, they make you say a speech, and
Oh yeah, your 4-4 speech.
I told them I just winged it just like I do everything. And I said, I'm gonna be real with you guys. I didn't come to the Carpenters Union on a winning streak.
Yeah.
But this was the best thing that ever happened to me because I got to buy a house, I got to earn things, I got to work for
Yes.
things, and I learned how to earn things and work for things legitly.
Yeah.
And it was, it was what I needed. It was a great, it was awesome. I loved it. I
Yeah.
loved I always promoting union carpenters, and I always can usually find union carpenters work, even though I'm not in the union anymore. I still have a lot of connections
Yeah.
with general contractors, concrete companies, framing companies, siding
Yeah.
companies, even roofing companies in the union.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So one of the things that I wanted to just thank you for was being so open and honest and sharing your story in front of all these people
Yeah,
that
you're
you
welcome.
probably don't even know are watching. One thing
Yeah.
that I encourage is that when we're done, go through the Facebook posts and read all the comments and
Okay.
go and read. And if you want to message them, you can, or reply to the comment section.
Yeah, so I got one thing. So I mean, since COVID hit, I really haven't been like doing doing a recovery program. I haven't been working the program, but I've been going to a couple of meetings with a buddy that I just reconnected with, and he's brought to me about mentoring or sponsoring or something like that. And I'm not trying to throw no plug out there that I'm willing to do that, but if it's for the right person that really is serious about a recovery program, I mean, I'm down to mentor or sponsor somebody, guide them and through recovery, through the beginnings of the recovery, stuff like that. Um, it, it's kind of been on my heart to actually reach out in that kind of fashion right there,
So
so
what I just heard was if anybody needs a mentor or a sponsor or someone to talk to, a sober coach or a
yeah,
recovery coach or just a mentor or just someone to bounce things off of, man, Oscar's out here. Oscar has offered himself up for that.
yeah,
And, he's on Facebook. You can message him. If you're struggling, you can message him. You can message me. You can message a lot of people that are on the
yeah,
comments on here. There's a lot of people on here that you can message if you're struggling with anything.
yeah. Because I mean, it's a beast out there. Like struggling with addiction is rough. And actually getting guided from somebody that's actually been through it and still in recovery, I mean, it takes getting help, and actually, just vibing with somebody that, will tell you the straight blunt truth on, the advice that you're seeking, and I believe that's what I'll do, somebody needs help, I'm here, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You've put yourself out there tonight. I'm going to try to close this out.
Okay.
We have a lot of people on. We have a lot of people. We have a lot of comments. We had a lot of people on. We had a great live. I'm going to try to close us out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask if you would like to say any last words, and then you can say those last words, and then I'll pull you back and I'll close us out, and then we'll end the live.
All right. Go for it.
Yeah, go for it, man. Give some last words to the audience because
I mean,
hope.
Yeah, to anybody that's out there struggling. I mean, I've struggled for 17 plus years, 10 years in the prison system. If I can do it, definitely anybody can do it, because I was pretty much one of the grimiest people out there doing whatever I could do. It's all about how much you want to change and how much effort you're going to put into that change is what you're going to get out of it. There definitely is hope. Yeah.
That's right. There definitely is hope. You guys heard it. We've spread it here tonight. I know we have. We've spread hope to the hopeless. We've
Yes.
even spread some hope to some people that have hope so they can share that hope with hopefully some hopeless people, right? That's what we want to reach. We want to reach people that are struggling. Oscar, thank you, brother.
Thank you.
Your God really came through tonight and showed up.
Yes.
Yeah, man, and it was an amazing story with an amazing live. I want to thank you personally. There's tons of people that have thanked you on the Facebook post, the Facebook Live. So when we get off here, you'll have to go through there and look through all those because there's a bunch of them. I will pull you backstage. You can hang out, and I'll be back there in just a little bit.
Okay.
Tell everybody bye.
All right. Bye, everybody.
All right, brother. I'll see you in a little bit. Yo, what's up, everybody? Thank you guys for tuning in again. Oscar was phenomenal tonight. Told his story straight from the heart, straight from the hip. We always can appreciate a good story filled with hope and inspiration from someone that wasn't supposed to make it out, right? There's people that deem us. There's people that tell us, nah, he ain't gonna make it. Nah, that's dude, man. He ain't gonna make it. They said that about me. They said that about him. I know they said that about some of you guys watching tonight. But we're here to tell you that there is hope for you. Oscar shared his hope. I want to thank you guys for tuning in again and helping us share this hope as you shared this live on your feed and commented. You guys' support makes this page possible so we can reach people. Because the bottom line is we do this so we can help people. If you know anyone struggling, reach out to me, reach out to Oscar, reach out to Dave Johnson on the feed. Reach out to anybody on this feed. The Mazeroses, they're there trying to help people. Bottom line, people are trying to help other people when they are on this page, this platform. We are trying to share our encouragement and our hope because we've come from the pits and we want to help you guys get out of that dirt and that mud and get into a blessed life, a clean life where you don't have to look over your shoulder anymore, where you don't have to be all paranoid and not knowing where you're going to sleep. Man, I remember waking up in jail happier than I ever woke up in my life. But why? Because I was sober and I didn't have to look over my back and I didn't have to worry about who owed me money, who I owed money to. So I know that there's somebody out there that can relate to me and Oscar's story tonight. So hit me up, reach out. Once again, man, thank you guys for sharing. Thank you guys for commenting. Thank you guys for liking. Thank you for supporting this page. I want to wish you guys all a blessed Saturday night. And as I always say, peace.